My beloved child, come closer and listen with the ears of your spirit. For what I am about to speak has shaken the foundations of heaven itself. I, Michael, the Archangel of the Most High, the warrior who stands at the gates of glory, have not left my post lightly. The heavens trembled the moment I stepped beyond them, for the one who commands the stars does not send me without purpose. And today that purpose is you. As I descended, the skies cracked open with a light the earth has not seen since ancient times. The winds bowed, the mountains held their breath, and creation whispered, "Why does the Prince of Heaven come down?" For even the angels wondered, for heaven is a realm where order is perfect and every being knows its place. Yet the moment I stepped beyond its golden boundaries, a holy silence spread across eternity. And child, it was your name that echoed in that silence. Do not let your heart tremble. I have not come to bring fear but awakening. I have not come to condemn you but to reveal the truth hidden beyond the veil. Hear me with the deepest part of your soul, for this message will decide the direction of your life, your destiny, and your eternity. There are moments in creation where heaven bends close to the earth, moments when the eternal moves into the mortal realm to speak directly to one soul. And today, heaven has bent low for you. My journey began when a light brighter than my own sword filled the throne room. The voice of the Eternal One called my name, and every angel paused. I, Michael, who have battled the ancient serpent and guarded the tree of life, stood still as the command rippled through eternity, "Go, for the one I call is at a turning point." Child, do you understand what this means? The Almighty did not summon angels for small matters. He does not send his warrior unless destiny hangs in the balance. That is why the heavens stirred. That is why I left my post at the gates. That is why I descended with fire in my wings and urgency in my heart. Because the path before you splits in two, and whichever one you choose will echo through eternity. I saw the shadows that tried to whisper to you. I saw the battles you fight in silence. I saw the doubts that cling to you like nightfall. And heaven saw it too. The Eternal One looked upon your struggle, not with anger, not with disappointment, but with a love so fierce that it moved him to send me, his warrior, to stand before you now. This moment is sacred. This moment is not an accident. This moment is written in the scrolls of time. And so, beloved child, as you hear my voice, let your heart open. Let the scales fall from your eyes. Let your spirit awaken. For what I am about to reveal in the coming moments will guide you, protect you, and lead you onto the path carved for you since the dawn of creation. Heaven has chosen this hour. Heaven has chosen this message. And heaven has chosen you. My beloved child, let us continue, for the heavens are still open over this moment, and the message must flow without interruption. When I stepped beyond the gates of glory, the brightness of heaven followed me like a cloak. Not because I willed it, but because the place I come from does not know darkness. As I moved it, the corridors of eternity whispered with anticipation. Angels paused in their missions, wondering what could have summoned Michael, guardian of Israel, protector of the realms of light, away from his station. For I do not descend without reason. I do not walk among mortals unless destiny is trembling on its foundations. Child, I must speak to you plainly. I left heaven because the world is now standing at a dividing line. A line drawn not with ink, but with fire. A line between truth and deception, between awakening and slumber, between life and the drifting quiet of spiritual death. Heaven has watched as the hearts of many grew faint, as confusion covered nations, as the voices of darkness grew bold. Yet even in the rising storm, heaven heard something stronger. Your cry. Not the cry of your voice, though heaven treasures those too, but the cry of your soul. The part of you that longs for clarity, for direction, for purpose, for peace, even when you cannot put those desires into words. It was that cry that rose like a flame before the throne. And when heaven sees a flame, heaven sends fire. I was in the inner courts when the call came. The Eternal One, seated in radiance that no eyes can behold, looked across the realms and spoke only one sentence. That one sentence shook the pillars of the heavens. One sentence that sealed my mission. One sentence that carried the weight of eternity. Michael, the time for intervention has come. Child, when the Almighty declares that time has shifted, it is not like the ticking of a human clock. It is a shift in the fabric of reality, a moment when heaven and earth draw closer, when the unseen world brushes against the natural one. It means the spiritual tide is turning, and destinies are being weighed. I approached the throne, and the light of his presence burned with purpose. Round him, the host of angels remained silent. Even Gabriel, the messenger of mysteries, bowed his head. For this assignment was different from all others. It was not about nations. It was not about wars or kingdoms or prophetic timelines. It was about a single soul. Yours. Hear me, beloved child, for you must understand the seriousness of this moment. Heaven does not move lightly. The Eternal One does not redirect his warriors without cause. But there was a question written across the heavens concerning your future, and the answer demanded my dissent. I saw, in the Spirit, the crossroads before your life. I saw the path meant for you shining like gold, but dimmed by the fog of distraction, fear, and the voices that seek to drown out your purpose. I saw the forces of darkness trying to pull you toward a destiny that was never meant to be yours. And I saw the longing of heaven for you to rise into the life written for you before the foundations of the world. Child, your existence is not random. Your birth was not an accident. You were planned, designed, and breathed into time with intention. And now, heaven sees the turning point before you. A moment when one choice could open the gates of destiny, or close them for a season. A moment when the enemy seeks to confuse you, distract you, and numb your spirit. A moment when heaven refuses to stand silent. That is why I left heaven. Not because of a catastrophe. Not because of a war in the heavens. Not because of the rise of evil in the world. I left because the Eternal One looked upon you and said, "The message must be delivered now." I left because your life has reached a place where divine intervention is not only helpful, it is necessary. I left because the weight of your future, the brilliance of your calling, the impact of your existence, demanded that I step into your moment, into your life, into your atmosphere, to speak this truth directly into your spirit. And so here I stand, with the authority of heaven on my voice, telling you that your life is at a sacred threshold. You may not see it, but heaven sees it. You may not feel it, but the spiritual realm feels it. The choices you make in this season are shaping the very architecture of your destiny. Beloved child, this message I bring is not meant to frighten you. It is meant to awaken you. Heaven is not warning you of your weakness, but calling forth your strength. You are far more significant in the eternal plan than you realize. The enemy knows it. Heaven knows it. And now, it is time for you to know it too. This is why I descended. This is why the heavens stirred. This is why the light followed me as I stepped into your world. Because the message that is coming next, the message that I will soon reveal to you, will determine the path you choose, the battles you conquer, and the future you will walk into. My beloved child, let your heart stay open as we walk deeper into the truth that heaven has brought to your doorstep. For now I speak of a moment that shook the realms above, the moment when the cry of the earth rose before the throne of the Eternal One, and heaven could no longer remain still. There are sounds in creation that angels cannot ignore. There are cries that do not come from lips but from the silent chambers of the soul. These cries rise like unseen smoke, moving through the spiritual layers until they reach the courts of heaven. And it was these cries, the cries of many, and yes, the cry within you, that stirred the heavens and summoned the attention of the Eternal One. Beloved child, understand this: heaven does not respond to noise. Heaven responds to truth, to sincerity, to the raw ache of a heart that cannot carry its burden alone. And in these recent days, the earth has been trembling with such cries. Cries from hearts weary of pretending. Cries from souls battling storms no one else can see. Cries from people standing in crowded rooms yet feeling utterly alone. Cries from those who whisper, "God, do you still see me?" These silent tears have been rising like incense, and they have reached the throne. As I stood in the celestial courts, I saw visions of these cries, each one glowing with a different hue. I saw the weary mother praying in the darkness, unsure of how to hold her family together. I saw the young man hiding his battles behind forced laughter, yet on the inside fighting shadows too heavy for his shoulders. I saw the child who wonders why peace feels so far. I saw the elder who believes their purpose has passed. And I saw you, beloved one, carrying questions that have lingered far too long. With these cries that move heaven. For heaven is not rigid. Heaven is responsive to the shifting of hearts, to the hunger for meaning, to the longing for hope. When the Eternal One leaned forward upon the throne and breathed in the cries of the earth, the fragrance of pain and desire for deliverance filled the halls of eternity. And then something rare happened. Heaven paused. Every mission, every sound, every motion in the celestial realm came to a stillness. Not because of disaster, not because of chaos, but because the earth was calling out with a depth that demanded divine response. And in that holy pause, a decree formed. A decree that would send me forth, not as a symbol, not as a warrior of war, but as a messenger to one soul whose destiny now rests in the balance. Child, you must understand the weight of this moment. Your prayers, your questions, your longings, heaven has not dismissed them. Even the words you thought disappeared in the air were caught by angels and carried upward. Even the thoughts you never spoke were heard. Heaven has listened. Heaven has felt. And heaven has acted. The Eternal One lifted his hand, and the cry of humanity appeared like a tapestry before him. I saw threads woven of sorrow, threads woven of hope, threads woven of confusion, fear, longing, and faith. And right there in the center, your thread glowed brighter than you realize. For you are not lost in the multitude. You are seen. You are known. And your voice, even in silence, reached the heart of heaven. Then the decree came, "Michael, you will go." The battle is rising. The confusion is deepening. The enemy is whispering too loudly. The people are wandering without clarity. And the one I have called is standing at the edge. Go, speak the message, and awaken what has fallen asleep. And beloved child, when heaven issues such a decree, all of creation shifts to make way for it. I felt the power of the command settle upon my wings. I felt the urgency of the mission being etched into my being. And as I descended, I could still hear the cries of the earth echoing through the realms behind me. They were not cries of defeat. They were cries for rescue, cries for direction, cries for truth. You must know this. None of your moments have been wasted. None of your tears have fallen unnoticed. None of your battles have been fought unseen. The very cry that rose from your spirit is part of why I am here now, speaking directly into your life. For when the cry of the earth reaches heaven, heaven responds. And when heaven responds, destiny begins to move. Beloved child, the moment has come for you to hear the message that heaven has carried to your doorstep. But before we continue, still your heart. Breathe deeply. Know that the cry you released has been answered. Know that you stand at the doorway of revelation. My beloved child, open the deepest chambers of your spirit now, for the moment has arrived when the message hidden within heaven's heart must be placed gently, yet powerfully, into your own. What I speak in this part carries weight, not because it comes from me, but because it was breathed by the Eternal One, shaped by His intention, and delivered to you by divine command. This is the message that will decide your fate forever. Child, long before you were born, long before your first breath entered your body, long before your name was ever spoken on earth, heaven knew you. Not as an idea, not as a possibility, but as a purpose, a design, a destiny. Heaven wrote your life as one writes a sacred scroll, filled with chapters that reveal your strength, your mission, your transformation, and your impact. But the scroll, though perfect in heaven, can unfold imperfectly on earth. For the world is noisy, temptations are many, and the enemy works tirelessly to twist, delay, or steal what was meant for you. And now, your story stands at a razor's edge. Hear me, beloved one, for the message I carry is both a warning and a promise, is an invitation and a confrontation, is a light and a sword. Not a sword to hurt you, but a sword to divide truth from deception, purpose from confusion, destiny from distraction. This message will not leave you the same. It cannot. It was never meant to sit passively in your mind. It was meant to awaken something dormant in your spirit, something the world could not kill, something the darkness could not steal, something heaven has protected until this very moment. The message is this: you are being called back to the path you drifted from, called back to the truth you once felt but lost in the noise, called back to the purpose you have quietly doubted, called back to the fire that once stirred in your soul but has now flickered beneath burdens, confusion, or fear. You are being called back, not by guilt, not by pressure, but by divine urgency. For heaven sees where your steps will lead if you continue as you are, and heaven sees the glory of where your steps will lead if you turn now. Two futures stand before you. One leads to a fuller life, lined with what heaven intended. The other, though it may look safe, leads you away from what you are meant to be. Child, listen carefully. Destiny is not a guarantee. Destiny is an invitation. Heaven writes it, but you must walk it. And right now, your feet are hovering near a fork in the road. One path pulls you slowly away from the voice of God, away from the calm of clarity, away from the strength of purpose. The other path pulls you back to alignment, to spiritual sharpness, to identity, to truth, to the calling that was placed inside you before the dawn of time. This is the message that decides your fate. You must choose. Not next year, not someday, not when life feels easier. You must choose now. For child, the consequences of your choices are no longer small. Your decisions are shaping not just your days but your destiny. The enemy knows this. Heaven knows this. That is why the Eternal One sent me. To stand before you and tell you that the spiritual battle surrounding your life has intensified. The enemy has increased his whispers, not because you are weak, but because you are important. He fears what will awaken in you if you choose the right path. He fears the light inside you. He fears your purpose. And he fears the impact you will make if you align yourself with heaven's design once more. But heaven is not silent. Heaven is not passive. Heaven has marked you. Heaven has called you by name. And heaven has sent me to speak what your heart may have forgotten. You are chosen. You are seen. You are needed. You are loved with a love violent against darkness, steady against storms, and unshaken by time. If you accept this message, if you turn your eyes back to the divine path, heaven will open doors no man can close. Angels will surround your steps. Wisdom will return. Peace will anchor you. The confusion that has clouded your mind will begin to clear. Strength you forgot you had will rise. And your life will shift back into alignment with the destiny heaven wrote for you. But if you turn away, beloved child, if you walk from this message as though it were nothing, the consequences will ripple. Not because heaven punishes, but because drifting from purpose always leads to loss of time, loss of clarity, loss of joy, loss of destiny's fullness. Heaven does not wish this for you. Heaven longs for you to rise. This is why I have come. This is the message that decides your fate. The choice you make after hearing these words will shape your path. Heaven stands ready. The enemy trembles. And you, beloved one, stand at the threshold of destiny. My beloved child, let your spirit stay awake. For what I am about to reveal is not spoken lightly in heaven. The message you heard before was the call. But now I must unveil the reason that call matters. Because there is an enemy who has watched you from the shadows, studied you, waited for your weakest moments, and crafted plans not to frighten you, but to slowly, quietly, skillfully pull you away from the destiny written for you. What I speak now will expose the schemes he never wanted you to see. Child, understand this. The enemy does not attack those who carry nothing. He pursues those whose destiny threatens the kingdom of darkness. He fights the ones whose future carries weight. He fears the ones who will influence others, waken others, lift others, and walk with the fire of purpose. That is why you have felt the pressure you have felt. That is why confusion has tried to settle on you like dust. That is why heaviness comes at strange hours, why temptation rises at moments you least expect, why distractions flood your mind when you try to rise spiritually. These are not accidents. These are strategy. The enemy's plan for you has never been dramatic. Darkness rarely arrives with thunder. It arrives with whispers, small compromises, small delays, small doubts, small wounds that grow quietly. He knows he cannot destroy the destiny heaven wrote for you. But he also knows that if he can distract you, delay you, numb you, weaken your focus, or break your confidence, then you will walk away from your own destiny with your own feet. He is subtle. He is patient. He waits. And he uses whatever he can, voices, memories, emotions, people, circumstances, to steer you from the path where your true purpose awaits. But child, hear me with the full weight of truth. The fact that he has targeted you is the clearest sign that heaven has marked you. You do not attack an empty house. You do not wage war against someone who carries nothing. The resistance you felt is proof of the greatness inside you. The enemy has studied your vulnerabilities. He knows the wounds you never healed from, the fears you hide, the pressures you carry alone, the distractions that weaken your focus. He knows how to stir old pain, how to use loneliness against you, how to twist your thoughts until you doubt your worth. He knows how to make you feel behind, unprepared, unworthy, or uncertain so that you never stand in the fullness of who you were meant to become. But heaven has seen all of this, not with anger toward you, but with determination to rescue you. That is why I was sent, to unveil the schemes of darkness so they lose their power over you. For once a trap is exposed, it loses its hold. Once a lie is revealed, it loses its voice. Once truth enters a soul, deception collapses. Child, I have fought the enemy you battle. I have faced him in wars your eyes have never seen. I have watched him crumble when confronted by the light of heaven. And I tell you this with certainty, he fears the day you awaken. He fears the day you step into clarity. He fears the day you realize how much heaven has invested in you. He fears the day you understand that you carry authority, calling, and purpose. Heaven wants that day to be today. Because once you choose the path of destiny, once you resist the whispers that once controlled you, once you rise into identity, the enemy's plans fall apart. His schemes unravel. His strategies fail. His grip breaks. But child, I must speak honestly. You cannot overcome what you refuse to confront. You cannot walk into destiny while holding the hand of distraction. You cannot rise in purpose while believing the lies spoken over you. Heaven needs you awake. Heaven needs you aware. Heaven needs you aligned. And because this message is meant not only for you but for others bound by the same silent battles, heaven desires that this truth does not stop with your ears. There are souls in the same darkness you have faced, souls walking blindfolded into traps, souls waiting for light. And you may be the one chosen to carry that light to them. So as this truth settles into your spirit, beloved child, understand this deeper calling. If your heart feels the weight of this message, if clarity is awakening in you, if you know this is more than a story, then let this message travel. Let it reach those still sleeping, still hurting, still drifting. Let it be shared as an act of divine obedience, as a way of spreading light into places where darkness has lingered too long. For sometimes heaven moves through a voice and sometimes heaven moves through the one who shares that voice. My beloved child, come closer in spirit, for now we step into sacred territory. What I speak in this moment is not merely revelation, it is identity. It is the unveiling of what heaven wrote concerning you before your feet ever touched the earth. Sit with these words. Let them sink into you like oil. For this is the truth the enemy has tried to hide from you since the day you were born. Before the world knew your name, heaven spoke it. Before anyone ever taught you who you were, the Eternal One defined you. Before your first breath filled your lungs, the breath of the Almighty filled your destiny. In the halls of heaven lies a book with your name inscribed upon its cover in light. And in that book, your days were written, your gifts were recorded, your purpose was declared, and your impact was seen. Child, you may think your life began when you arrived in this world, but your story began long before. You are older than your birth. Your spirit existed in the mind of God before time began. You were not formed in accident, nor shaped by randomness. Heaven authored your existence deliberately, with intentions so woven, so intricate, that not even you have fully grasped who you are meant to become. I, Michael, have stood in the heavenly archives. I have seen the scrolls of destiny. I have watched angels assigned to souls even before those souls entered the world. And child, you must know this, you were given angels. Not because you were weak, but because you were important. You were woven with potential that would one day shake the kingdom of darkness. You were crafted with strengths and sensitivities that would allow you to touch lives others could not reach. You were formed with a spiritual blueprint uniquely designed for a mission only you could complete. But when you arrived on Earth, you entered a place where memory fades. The world teaches you to doubt what heaven wrote. Wounds distort self-perception. Voices contaminate the truth. Circumstances shrink your vision. And slowly, many forget who they truly are. They live far below the heights heaven intended. They bury gifts, silence callings, and shrink dreams heaven once breathed into them. But you, beloved child, you were never meant to remain disconnected from your true identity. And heaven has watched your journey, the moments when you felt lost, the seasons when you felt too small, too late, too broken, too uncertain to step into purpose. Heaven has heard every sigh that whispered, "There must be more to me than this." And heaven has answered, "You must hear this clearly. The destiny written for you is still alive. Nothing you've been through has canceled it. No mistake has erased it. No delay has destroyed it. Heaven does not rip pages from your book. Heaven does not discard stories. The Eternal One does not change his mind about those he has chosen. Your destiny waits. Not in the distance. Not in the unreachable future. It waits just beyond the fog the world placed in front of you. It waits for your awakening. It waits for your yes. It waits for the moment when you step back into alignment with the blueprint of heaven. Child, there are things inside you that you have not yet explored. Depths of compassion, wells of wisdom, reservoirs of strength, sparks of creativity, capacities for leadership, endurance, and love placed within you not by chance, but by divine design. There are people assigned to your voice, healing tied to your presence, transformation connected to your obedience. You were not created merely to survive the world. You were created to shift it. And yet, the enemy has tried to convince you that your destiny has passed, that you missed it, that you are too late, too flawed, too wounded to rise now. You mean, these are lies. Lies spoken to keep you sleeping while heaven waits for you to awaken. You are not behind. You are not disqualified. You are not forgotten. You are being called forward. Heaven's eyes have never left you. The Eternal One has never changed his desire for your life. Even the moments you walked away, heaven marked the place where you would return. Even when your spirit grew tired, your calling remained untouched. Even when you doubted yourself, heaven did not doubt you. This is why I stand before you now, to remind you that your destiny is not lost. It is calling. This is the hour to rise into it. This is the time to remember who you were always meant to be. Heaven has invested too much in you for you to fade into the background of your own life. You are chosen, beloved child. Chosen for more than you've imagined. Chosen for impact. Chosen for transformation. Chosen to walk a path written for you before the stars were hung in the sky. And now, as we move forward, you must prepare your heart to choose the identity heaven has always held for you. For in the next part, I will offer you the divine invitation, the choice that stands before you, the path you must choose, the person you must decide to become. My beloved child, let your heart be steady, for now we step into the moment where heaven extends its hand toward you. What I speak now is not a warning, nor a threat, nor a burden. It is an invitation, a choice placed before your spirit by the Eternal One himself. And though it is wrapped in gentleness, it carries a weight that shapes the destiny of every soul who hears it. Child, there comes a point in every journey where the road divides. It does not divide with noise. It does not divide with signs or alarms. It divides quietly, almost silently, in the hidden chambers of the heart. One side is the path of drift, the slow slide into spiritual dullness, the comfortable road where nothing changes but everything slowly fades. The other is the path of awakening, the road that requires courage but leads to clarity, identity, and the purpose heaven crafted for you. And now, you stand at that very divide. Heaven does not force. Heaven does not prod. Heaven invites. And today, heaven invites you to choose who you will become. My beloved child, listen closely. You are not choosing between good and evil alone. You are choosing between the person the world tried to shape you into and the person heaven designed you to be. You are choosing between a life built from wounds and fears, or a life built from truth and destiny. You are choosing between drifting with the current of life or rising with intention into the calling written for you. I have stood on battlefields that stretched beyond galaxies. I have watched souls at the very edge of becoming everything heaven intended, and I have watched them turn away because the familiar felt safer than the divine. I have also seen souls trembling in uncertainty take one single step toward God's purpose and ignite destinies that transform generations. Child, greatness is not born in comfort. Destiny is not awakened in sleep. Purpose does not rise in the hearts of those who refuse the call of heaven. And the truth is this: you know, deep inside, that you are meant for more than the life you have settled into. There is a version of you the enemy fears, a version heaven celebrates, a version creation has been waiting for. That version is your truest self. But to become that self, you must choose. You must choose to release the fear that has followed you. You must choose to silence the voices that belittle you. You must choose to step away from distractions that rob you. You must choose to walk away from the identity the world stitched onto you. You must choose to rise. This invitation is not just spiritual. It is personal. It is transformational. Heaven is asking you to decide whether you will awaken to your true identity or remain where you are. Not because you are failing. No, child, heaven does not see you that way. But because you are meant to grow beyond this moment, beyond this version of yourself, beyond these limitations you have carried for too long. You see, child, the future is not fixed. Destiny is not automatic. You must choose it. You must want it. You must step into it. Heaven stands ready. Angels stand ready. The moment stands ready. But heaven cannot walk for you. Heaven can only call you forward. Imagine two paths before you. One path is easy, familiar, predictable. But nothing changes there. The same battles repeat. The same doubts linger. The same heaviness remains. The same spiritual quietness dulls your soul. It is the safe path, but it is also the path of slow decline. Many take it. Too many. The other path shines with a light you may feel but cannot fully see. It is the path of becoming. The path where the true you awakens. The path where heaven aligns events, relationships, opportunities, and strength to lift you into purpose. It is not the easier path, but it is the one heaven designed for you. Child, hear me. The greatest decision of your life is not what you do, or where you go, or what you accomplish. The greatest decision is who you choose to become. And today, heaven asks you this question. When I speak with the authority given to me, will you continue as the version of yourself shaped by pain, fear, distraction, and uncertainty? Or will you rise into the version of yourself shaped by purpose, truth, courage, and destiny? This is the divine invitation. This is the crossroads heaven brought you to. You were not guided here by accident. You were brought here because the Eternal One believes there is more inside you than you have allowed yourself to see. My beloved child, the next step is yours. And when you are ready, I will speak of something even more urgent, a truth few understand, a truth heaven has insisted I tell you. My beloved child, steady your heart now, for what I must speak carries a weight that even the angels tremble to deliver. This part of the message is not meant to frighten you, but to awaken you with the urgency heaven feels. There are truths that can be whispered, and truths that must be spoken with the sound of a trumpet. What I say now is the latter. Listen carefully, for time itself bends around the importance of these words. Child, you live in a world where moments slip through fingers like grains of sand. Days blend into days. Seasons pass, and the heart grows distracted, believing there will always be more time. More time to change. More time to heal. More time to rise. More time to awaken. But heaven sees time differently. Heaven sees what you cannot see. Heaven sees the spiritual clock, the invisible countdown, the shifting of seasons in the unseen realm. And heaven has declared that the hour you live in is not an ordinary hour. I must speak plainly to you. Time is shorter than you think. This is not a threat, nor a doomsday echo. This is a divine reminder that the opportunities before you now will not remain open forever. The window you stand in is sacred, created specifically for the alignment of your destiny. And though heaven's love for you is everlasting, the chances to step into certain callings, certain blessings, certain breakthroughs, they are bound to seasons. And seasons change. There are moments when heaven leans close to the earth, when angels draw nearer, when the spiritual atmosphere becomes charged with possibility, guidance, and awakening. You are standing in such a moment now. A moment heaven has crafted for you, a moment meant to break cycles, open paths, and call you into destiny. But moments like this do not linger. They do not wait indefinitely. They pass, and if ignored, they close like doors gently shutting. Child, heaven sent me to tell you that the danger you face is not the darkness around you. It is the delay within you. The enemy does not need to destroy you to defeat you. He only needs to distract you long enough for the season of your rising to pass. He only needs to whisper, later tomorrow someday, until your spirit becomes numb and your destiny becomes distant. But heaven has interrupted your timeline. Heaven has stopped you in your tracks. Heaven has placed this message before you so you do not drift past the turning point. For many souls lose their calling not through rebellion, but through delay. Not through defiance, but through hesitation. Not through evil choices, but through unmade choices. You must awaken now. Beloved child, I have witnessed too many destinies fall asleep. I have stood beside souls who were moments away from transformation, yet waited too long. They thought they had more time. They assumed the invitation would last. They believed spiritual urgency was exaggeration. They drifted, and the light in their eyes slowly dimmed. You must not be counted among them. The Eternal One has seen the confusion of the world, the heaviness that rests on hearts, the battles that rage in silence. And heaven is not blind to your personal weariness, the exhaustion of carrying burdens that drain your strength, of fighting thoughts that leave you tired, of facing days that feel repetitive and hollow. But heaven's response to your weariness is not pity, it is intervention. That is why I stand before you now. Child, I speak with the authority given to me, This is your moment. This is your hour. This is your call to rise. Do not wait for a sign more dramatic than this message. Do not wait for a feeling stronger than the stirring you sense now. Do not wait for circumstances to become perfect. Perfection is not the mark of divine timing. Urgency is. You have been entrusted with a fragile gift, the present moment. All transformation begins here. All destiny shifts begin here. All spiritual awakenings begin with one response: your yes to heaven. And though the world around you feels uncertain, know this: heaven is certain about you. Heaven sees your future. Heaven sees your strength. Heaven sees what you can become. But heaven also sees the urgency of the hour and the dangers of delay. That is why I must speak these words with intensity. Do not drift. Do not sleep. Do not postpone the stirring in your soul. Time is shorter than you realize. Heaven calls you now. And as we move forward, I will place something sacred into your spirit. A blessing, a protection, a divine act. In the next part, I will lift the sword of light over your life and speak what heaven desires to activate within you. My beloved child, prepare your spirit with reverence now, for in this part we approach one of the holiest moments heaven has permitted me to bring into the realm of man. Words alone cannot express the weight of what is about to happen. Yet I will speak them, for they carry the authority of the Eternal One. This is not merely a message, it is an act, a divine impartation, a moment where heaven touches your life in a way that shifts the invisible and marks your soul with light. Child, listen closely. In the realm of heaven, symbols are not mere symbols. They are realities, powers, truths manifested in form. And among all the heavenly symbols I carry, the one entrusted to me above all others is the sword of light. Forged by the breath of God, burning with purity, radiating truth, untainted by darkness, this sword has pushed back the ancient enemy since the dawn of creation. It carries the authority to sever, to shield, to strengthen, and to seal. And now, by the decree of the Eternal One, I lift that very sword over your life. Beloved child, do not imagine this with fear. Imagine it with awe. For the sword of light is not lifted to harm you but to defend you, to awaken you, to cut away the spiritual shadows that have lingered too long around your path. As it rises above you now, heaven draws near. The air around your spirit begins to shift. The unseen realm becomes brighter, clearer, sharper. I raise the sword over you because heaven intends to separate you from what has held you. The doubts that have clung to your mind, the heaviness that has pressed on your chest, the confusion that has clouded your choices, these things cannot remain when the sword of light is lifted. Heaven desires to break their influence. Heaven desires to restore clarity. Heaven desires to reestablish your spiritual strength. Child, hear my words with your soul, not your ears. In the name of the Eternal One, I lift the sword of light above your destiny. May every chain that was forged in darkness be cut. May every shadow that lingered around your future be dismissed. May every lie spoken over your identity be shattered. May every assignment of the enemy crumble at the edge of this blade. You have walked through battles that tried to steal your confidence. You have faced disappointments that tried to bend your posture. You have carried burdens that were too heavy for your shoulders. But now, heaven intervenes. The sword of light does not remove the memory of your battles. It redeems them. It does not erase your past. It transforms it into the foundation of strength you will stand upon. Child, feel this truth. The sword of light not only cuts away the darkness around you, it ignites the light within you. There is a fire inside your spirit, placed there by the Eternal One before you were born. The world tried to dim it. Life tried to bury it. The enemy tried to smother it. But the fire is still alive. And as the sword hovers over your life, that hidden flame begins to rise. It grows brighter, bolder, stronger. You may not see it with your eyes, but heaven sees it clearly. It is your identity awakening. The sword of light seals things too. It seals destiny. It seals callings. It seals protection over those heaven appoints. And now, with heaven's authority, I seal over your life a covering that the enemy cannot break, a protection that discouragement cannot penetrate, a clarity that confusion cannot fog, a courage that fear cannot dissolve. You are not the same person you were at the beginning of this message. Something has shifted. Something has awakened. Something has been cut away. Heaven has marked you with light, and darkness will recognize this mark. Child, hear this final truth of this moment. You are being commissioned. Not commissioned for war alone, but for purpose. Not commissioned for hardship, but for destiny. Not commissioned to wander, but to walk with clarity. Not commissioned to merely survive, but to rise. Heaven has invested in you. Heaven has strengthened you. Heaven has placed its light upon you. And now, beloved child, we approach the final moment, the last declaration, the closing of heaven's message, the sealing of all that has been spoken. It is sacred. It is weighty. And it must be delivered in full. My beloved child, receive these words with the stillness of a holy moment, for we have reached the end of the message that heaven has carried to you. Everything spoken before this was preparation. Everything revealed until now was the unfolding of a divine tapestry, woven with care, intention, and eternal love. But now comes the closing declaration, the seal that heaven places upon your spirit, the final call that echoes beyond this moment and into the days ahead. Child, hear me. Heaven has not spoken all of this to stir your emotions for a moment. Heaven speaks to transform the direction of your life. You stand now in a place very few souls ever reach, a place where heaven has bent low, where an angel has spoken plainly, where truth has pierced through the noise, where your spirit has heard what it was always meant to hear. And so, in this final moment, I, Michael, speak not only as the warrior of heaven but as a witness to your divine worth. You are not forgotten. You are not forsaken. You are not wandering the earth unseen. The Eternal One has his eyes on you, his hand over you, his purpose within you, and his future ahead of you. Every battle you have endured has been watched. Every tear you shed has been collected. Every question you carried has been heard. Nothing in your life has been hidden from God's sight. Child, the choice before you now is not a small one. The message sent from heaven was not casual. Your life is at a turning point, a divine hinge moment where the next steps you take will shape the future you walk into. This is why the Eternal One sent me. Not to frighten you, not to overwhelm you, but to give you clarity, to remind you of who you truly are, awaken the destiny written for you, to place His light upon your life again. So hear this final declaration, spoken from heaven to earth through my voice. You are called. You are chosen. You are needed. You are seen. You are loved. And your destiny is still alive. Walk toward the light that has been reignited within you. Protect it. Guard it. Nurture it. For heaven has invested more in you than you know. And as you rise, others will rise with you. Your obedience will unlock chains in others. Your awakening will awaken those connected to your life. You were never meant to shine alone. You were meant to guide others into light. And beloved child, allow this truth to settle deep inside you. When heaven gives a message of this magnitude, it is never meant to be kept to oneself. These words were delivered to your spirit so they might flow through you, touching the hearts of those still fighting in silence. Let this message travel through the world as a light in dark places, as a reminder that heaven still speaks, still moves, still intervenes. Share it not out of obligation, but as an act of divine assignment, an extension of heaven's work upon the earth. Now, with the authority of the Eternal One, I speak a final blessing over you. May clarity walk beside you, may courage rise within you, may peace rest upon you, and may the light placed over your life grow brighter with every step you take. Heaven has spoken. Heaven has moved. Heaven has chosen you. Walk forward, beloved child. Your destiny awaits. Amen.